Make sure the audio's catching up this time.
Oh yeah, it's good. Bro, I checked my mic settings. I checked the settings for the Discord itself. I checked the desktop audio in Streamlabs. Like, nigga, it is solid. Like that, the last one or the one before last time gave me PTSD. So now anytime I record anything, I check all audio sources.
This is just like saving shit with Adobe. The absolute fear and anxiety.
Yeah. This is just like, dude, I know I control S and like gamer moment, like I just go back and hit save as anyway. Even though I just hit control S because I don't want that shit to like misread my fucking inputs. Oh right. Man.
Just no, please.
Yeah. So I guess to start it off, what is everybody's tenure in this blessed fan base of Wanik the mouse rat?
They don't. I already established they don't know what they want. We give them one thing, they want something different, but they keep going back to Sonic Adventure or Sonic Unleash. No. I don't know. They are very indecisive.
No, Jarvis. You can't.
It's true.
You can't have what you want because that's not what I want.
That's not fair. It needs to play like Sonic Adventure. We're gonna get Sonic Adventure 3.
No, Jarvis. The corporation is not listening to my singular subjective idea for what a Sonic game is. Therefore, the corporation is incompetent because this singular fan, knows what is best for this fucking franchise.
Oh man.
I love being the dude to be on the opposite side and be argumentative, but I just can't argue with those people.
Yeah,
like they make it so hard.
Because
they make it so hard to have fun.
Just watch them like shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
it's always hilarious to like run into somebody where like you say to yourself, it's like, holy shit, you're dead ass. Like, because I'm not gonna lie, man, like for the longest time I basically did not interact with the fan base on Twitter, and that was mainly because I wasn't really looking to. But once I did, I made some friends. I met y'all via Twitter and by proxy Discord. So like it's not all bad. I'm not even gonna sit here and say that the entire fan base is trash. Obviously not, but holy shit, the part of it that is trash is fucking dumpster juice, bro.
They're so loud. They're like so fucking loud.
Loud.
Just chill out.
They're so extra for such minuscule results.
Just fucking, you could just relax. Like, that's an option. That's a fun option. Not everything deserves a reaction is the first step into having fun in a fandom. But, I mean, holy fucking shit, bro. Like, some of this shit is just ridiculous. Did anybody have the other tweet pulled up?
Which one? Because
there were so a gang of them.
Are you talking about the one that I had sent that had all the quote tweets were some hot ass take?
Yeah, because like I have that one pulled up where it's like it's the picture of Sonic and he's looking. It's like, what's your fucking hottest Sonic take? And then of course people were like, some of the takes were like freezing cold, and then some of them were just like, I think you wrote this just to try and stand out and have a banger tweet. Like, my favorite one is or one of my favorite ones that I found was IDW Sonic was never good. Archie Sonic is objectively better. Ian Flynn was never good as a writer. Frontiers is objectively bad. and the fan base are completely deluded to think it's good. Adventure 2, Black Knight, and 06 have the best stories in the franchise. There's a lot to unpack, and I made, like, this is just a little Easter egg for the people who aren't in the Discord, and if you aren't, get the fuck in here, but I made the thumbnail for this video like 2 weeks ago, and this singular tweet has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the points that I made in the thumbnail in a single tweet. 5 of them. Bro, my foresight is just fucking insane. Like, that's just a little pat on my back.
Why do they do this?
Because it's cool, man. Some people think that it's 2007 and it's still cool to dislike shit that everybody likes just for the sake of it. See, at least with you have a reason and you're honest about your reason. Like, you're a contrarian for the sake of argument. And on the one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I ain't got time to be doing that shit with niggas on the internet no more. But like, some folks like this are just like dead ass. Like, IDW Sonic was never good. Like, bro, it's only been in circulation for 4 years, and every arc so far has been like an absolute fucking slapper. That's not just my opinion. But to say that something that's 4 years old was never good, it's like never had the fucking chance to be good, and then compare it to like 25 years of Archie comics, because I mean, nigga, there is definitely some fucking mid in the Archie comics. Do not get that shit twisted.
There is no such thing as
I love Archie,
Penders,
but there is so much mid,
and
bullshit, and Archie is full of so much Silver Age nonsense. That while it's cool as fuck in the moment, if you go back and you look at it, you're like, wow,
what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What you're saying is like Archie saw it. And this is kind of my opinion. It has a lot of it makes sense at the time moment.
Yeah.
I can feel it a lot because, like I said, that I probably missed it here, but I remember like seeing the covers of like Sonic Mega Collection, I think that's what it was. And I was like, oh shit, that shit must have been cool. Then after you hear more about it and read the shit, and it's like, oh, what the fuck am I reading?
Like, brother, there, like, we can't say that Archie is objectively better based solely off the fact that Ken Penders is there and Ron Lim's art style is there. Like, bro, Ron, man, and I'm not even like a super stickler for art like that. Like, art is very subjective, but I can honestly say without a doubt that Ron Lim's art style is like the worst that almost every character has looked. Like, I can say that with 100% confidence. I will throw up an image, matter of fact, of Ron Lim Sonic in this video and let y'all judge for yourselves, because people are like, it's gotten to the point now where people are like so chronically online that they're saying Evan Stanley's art style is trash.
Ooh.
And again, art is subjective. You can say you don't like something without calling it trash. Like, for example, nigga, I don't listen to fucking Beyonce songs because Beyonce don't make music for me, but I can also recognize that she's incredibly talented and she performs very well. Two things can be true at once.
Wait,
but
you
you
saying
niggas,
that you're not a single lady?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I am not a lady at all.
That's insane.
Yeah, like, you know, oh man, we're teeter-tottering on talking about that game that we're not supposed to talk about, guys. We're getting real close.
Wait till Tuesday.
Boy, lad, brother. But yeah, like, what, I don't know, man. How the fuck do y'all feel about fucking Evan Stanley's art style, or like the idea that I don't like it, therefore it's bad objectively?
That
Well,
just seems like a very opinionated thing. I don't know, like, but you have like some people that just hold that shit in their chest, like they'll die for it.
I just don't get why you can't just say, it's not for me. Because, like, and this is also coming from like personal experience. I've learned recently that it's not for me is a powerful statement.
Mhm.
Nobody can refute that.
Right.
It's not for me answers all questions.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all you have to say. It's not
And the
for
only
me.
thing you can say with that is like understandable and move on.
Yeah, and just leave it at that. But like people, and I don't know if it's like an online thing or a generational thing, but like I'm noticing more and more when it comes to the subject of art consumption, whether it be music or video games or whatever, but specifically related to Sonic, is that people tend to hyperbolize everything, like both good and bad, but the bad is always at the fucking forefront of the shit. Because, like Musa said, dude, like you could just say, yeah, that it's not for me, and just leave it at that. Like there's nothing else that you need to add on to that. Now, if people ask for an explanation, sure, but like you niggas are unprovokedly saying very definitive statements, and I don't know where you get the confidence from. You need to bottle that shit.
I feel as though something changed within the fan base.
A game came out.
Literally. Around this, I want to say either Sonic Unleashed or Colors came out. Sonic fans.
I kind of want to say Sonic
I'm sorry.
Adventure. Oh, didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying
No,
this. I want to say that's like every era has like their like that one game that they hold high above everyone else. Like when like me and Shane was growing up, it was Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2.
Yep.
Y'all were growing up, it's like Sonic Unleashed. And now that Sonic Frontiers is coming out, you'll have
the
niggas out in the open.
Mania crowd.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, man, they ain't gonna hold you, dog. Sonic Frontiers is a go. That's like, okay, that's cool. I like Sonic Frontiers too, but I'm gonna have my own personal favorite, and just move on.
And it's
right.
And it's really a big portion of a generational thing, I feel like, because Musa and Khalil, y'all are younger than me and Jarvis, but y'all have sense enough to be like, okay, this game's cool, I don't really gel with this game. Y'all don't do that shit where it's just like, oh man, I don't like it, this game fucking sucks, objectively, and there's nothing else that's gonna be said about it. So like,
except for Lost World.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Whatever. Who cares? But like, I'm just like, I'm trying to figure out where and why these things continue to be just like extrapolated, like, because your personal opinion is not a fact. it's you know, that's how you feel about a thing at a given point in time. Opinions can change. That's why they're never gonna be factual. But
I do have a slight theory as to why I think
what that
not as far as the win, well maybe the win, but the how. Right now, there's a lot of Sonic content creators out there, right? That's
unfortunately.
There's a lot of opinions being spread out. So when people go to YouTube and they watch their videos, they're like, okay, these powerful people have these opinions and a lot of people are liking their content. Let me have my own opinion and have it be fact as well. And this should be the norm. I feel as though that because of this type of age where we're in, where people are always broadcasting their opinions, people need to do that as well so that they can feel important. You know, there's nothing wrong with broadcasting your opinion. But when you're, like you've been saying how they do, they say, they hyperbolize. My take on how Amy and Sonic should be in a relationship and have kids, and we should have games on those kids, is law, and no one can challenge me. You know what I'm saying?
So,
right.
Do you mean just because like of the rise of like how social media is? Because I feel like we have the same amount of Sonic content creators as we did, but what, 10 years ago?
Not at all.
Not in the slightest.
Not in the slightest.
Is it more than I think it is?
It's
If
definitely
anything
more,
else
like,
is like more up and coming.
yeah.
Sonic
So I was
creators.
like, they're more prominent now, and again, that's because of the change of the landscape. But bro, just basing it off of like when I grew up, like Koban Armani's been out there for a minute.
Rest in peace.
Right. Like he was out there for a minute. There were a couple of other like quote unquote defenders at the time, but it's honestly like become more of a thing, or it's become more socially acceptable to be a Sonic content creator than it was around the time of say like Unleashed or Colors. It's just more socially acceptable. Like Lil B fans, nigga, there have been millions of Lil B fans for years, but it wasn't until like everybody realized, holy shit, without that nigga, we probably wouldn't have had niggas like Tyler or Cardi or Uzi or like them niggas. It's just more prominent now, or they're more prominently displayed now. Because like back then, you weren't a Sonic content creator, you were a Sonic defender. That's really what that shit got chalked up to, like 10, 15 years ago.
Did you mentioned Charles Hamilton, right?
I didn't, but also Charles Hamilton.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Same with Chris Chan, unfortunately. Before we knew that he was more than just a weird nigga.
And it's sad, especially us, having, I won't say mellowed out, because I've always been this way. I'm always like, everyone likes what they like, except Sonic 06, But it's sad because people are literally being kicked off the internet for their opinions.
And I'm like, I don't want, like, my goal is never to like get somebody removed from sharing their opinion, but I do invite other people besides myself to challenge people's opinions. Like, validate why you feel what you said is correct. And when that becomes the scenario, 8 out of 10 times Sonic fans crumble. Because you can't, it all, like, your validation boils, it's like using the Bible to validate the Bible. It's like because now we're in this weird, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Revisionist era where now people are saying like Mania is mid and episode 1 was hated on for, or Sonic 4 episode 1 was hated on for no reason. And
what?
Yeah, that shit blew my fucking mind, dude. Like I thought that was a fucking meme.
What?
Yeah,
that was the brain aneurysm, my dude.
No,
okay.
I am so
I went
serious.
to the bar before this.
Like I've made a couple
Never
of
saw that one,
bruh. I've made a couple of friends, like specifically through Twitter, and some of the shit that they respond to or like gets put on the timeline. Everybody knows how Twitter works. I don't have to fucking explain how Twitter works, but and like there are legit a handful, probably more, but like I've been seeing a couple of tweets where it's like people are calling Mania mid and saying episode 1 didn't deserve the hate it got. And the reasoning behind Mania being mid is because I didn't like Encore mode. I've played the levels before, and 4 was better than Mania. And as a nigga who defended 4 when it came out in 2010, because I was an adult. Yeah, I was an adult in that area, and I had made it through the fucking desert, and I found what I thought was an oasis. Episode 1 is not a good fucking game. If you play it on mobile, sure, it's a fantastic mobile game. But like as a core Sonic game, bro, the shit has 4 levels. 4 levels, goofy ass physics. The music is okay.
The best way I can describe Sonic 4 is like it is a very mid booty call.
Yeah. It's like it'll get the job. It's not what you want, but it'll get the job done. And even it now, like there's literally no reason to play episode 1 or episode 2 because we have Origins, which is essentially like a complete remaster of the first 4 games, which we're supposed to be getting DLC for. You have the fan games as well. There are way more fan games now than there were in 2010 when Sonic 4 released. Like, I've never once past like the year 2010 ever wanted to go back and play Sonic 4 Episode 1.
Right.
Like ever. That's never been a thought that crossed my mind. If you like the game, cool. Just say you like the game and leave it at that. Like, I have no issue with somebody saying, you know, I like this or I don't like this. It's when you try to like justify it, when you get buyer's remorse. Like when you try to justify your like or hate of a game by shitting on or boosting another game.
I feel like it always has to be a debate.
It does.
Every time.
It is. Like you're right in that fucking assessment. It shouldn't. But
it's always got to be my goat is better than your goat.
But your goat
instead of let's just enjoy these things equally.
Right. And like y'all niggas act like two good things can exist. And like the shit that like really kills me is just like what people call their goat. Cause I'm just like, yeah, I get it. I have to like do this balancing act of like, this is your opinion, you are entitled to it. And holy shit, why the fuck do you think 06 is a good Sonic game? Mm-hmm. Like, and it, again, like this fan base, like a lot of other fan bases have this issue of the one that was most prevalent when I grew up is the best one. And it should never be challenged. Like you see it with the older generations thinking that the classic games are the best. People that are, you know, me and Jarvis's age, like usually tend to stick around Adventure 1, Adventure 2. A lot of younger people tend to go for Heroes, which, okay.
Oh boy.
Then, like, you know, the really young kids, they like every fucking thing, which is, you know, the people that we were, for better or worse, but like this whole idea of the one I grew up with is the best and everything after is bad because it's not the one I grew up with is die. It needs to die. Like the niggas that I've done videos on are perfect examples of that. And just like completely misrepresenting their dislike for something because, you know, oh man, y'all hated the combat in Unleashed. Why is it good in Frontiers? Well, nigga, you just answered your own fucking question. It's almost like it was built into the core of Frontiers and a whole nother gameplay style in the other game. Man, that was such a hard question to answer. Do we have any more brain busters?
I was actually gonna bring that up.
Shit, that one made me laugh for real. Oh.
Yeah, because that's hilarious. But what Sonic fans do is that they get this idea of their ideal Sonic game or their ideal game from their childhood. A new game comes out. It is not 100% exactly the same, and it's bad.
And that's different. And that's the generational shit that I was talking about. Because a perfect example of that is the Star Wars fan base. Like every trilogy that comes after the one that the generation before it grew up with gets deemed as trash until the next trilogy comes out, and then you're like, okay, maybe these weren't so bad. And it's very weird to see it in this franchise because I've been there since literally day fucking one, and you know, to see people's opinions at that time and then over time has been hilarious on one hand, but frightening on the other, because now games that were held in generally high regard for so long are being compared to games that came 20 fucking years after them. Like, nigga, you can't really compare like Sonic Adventure 2 to fucking Frontiers, or like you can't really compare Heroes to something like Forces. Like those are two completely different design philosophies for two completely different eras of game. Like the franchise moves, it grows, it evolves and shit. And like, I just constantly see this weird comparison of like, especially like with the adventure games, it's just, oh my God, these games have aged poorly. Like they've aged for sure. No, that's what happens to shit.
You know,
like,
at that point, I think it's just kind of a matter of, well, some people just want to argue for the sake of arguing.
Yeah. And sometimes it is.
Yeah.
But like, dude, I'd agree wholeheartedly if I didn't see what I see on a daily basis.
Right.
Like I would agree with you wholeheartedly if it was maybe just like 5 folks. But this is it's a pandemic.
Man, we are here starving for clout and Elon's bird app.
Yeah.
I will say that I 100%. It's definitely it's a contagious mindset. Sometimes I have to catch myself because they're like, I like IDW Sonic, but there are parts that I don't like, and I have to realize just because it's not how Archie was doesn't make it bad.
Right.
And that doesn't make me call like IDW bad. I love IDW Sonic. But it's something I have to be mindful of because I do have my biases of how I want a Sonic story.
Mm. And that's I think,
and it's just something that a lot of other people are not taking into account because, like we said, they are chronically online.
Yeah.
Opinion not mine, opinion bad.
Yeah. Cause I'm like, I agree, man, and like I get it. Because like there is obviously, like we talked about Frontiers multiple times at length. Is there shit that I would have done differently or that I would have liked to have seen done differently in Frontiers? Absolutely. But that doesn't, just because I want something done differently doesn't mean that what I got was bad. Like I thoroughly enjoyed Frontiers, where I have like 180 something fucking hours on PS5. Like I constantly go back to that game and either just fuck around in the open world or try to do a speed run on some levels. Like that does not take away from the fact that the game has some issues that can obviously be fixed. But I mean, like y'all gotta fucking chill when this franchise attempts something new. And it's crazy that like this is the franchise that doesn't get to do that. It's like, people were like shitting on the game, saying it was bad, saying it was mid, this and that, all the way up until release. The game hit damn near 3 million in a month amidst the major gaming release season. That is not the signs of a bad game.
Peak.
It's the same with the fucking franchise. Like, bro, you cannot name me another single franchise that can have as many missteps as Sonic has and make it to 30. You can't.
Right.
Holy like, shit. It's a miracle. Mega Man doesn't even have as many missteps as Sonic, and Capcom doesn't do shit with Mega Man.
Capcom ain't doing a fucking thing with Mega Man. When was the last time you had an Onimusha game, nigga?
Ooh.
Oh my gosh.
You want to count the port that came out a couple years ago?
Nah, that doesn't count.
I guess said port.
But,
I mean, it's like Mega Man. Well, can't go too out of topic. It's like happy birthday, Mega Man.
Right, happy birthday.
Play the same gaming, nigga.
Give me Legends 3, please.
What is Legends 3? You mean Zero Collection?
I want X9.
Oh.
We are getting the Battle Network connection, which is, I didn't think that shit was ever gonna fucking happen. But I need an X9. I need a sequel to X. I need to know what the fuck happens.
You get a Legends Collection, nigga. Mega Man 1 and 2.
I'll play it, but it ain't X.
Mighty Number 9 just came out.
Shut up, nigga.
Oh wow.
Shut up.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
That's X9
shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
Okay.
Anyway, the deconstruction of Sonic as a brand,
that
and
shit.
as a fan base, what niggas are doing, this shit is absolutely crazy. Like
And I did one. I'm glad you said that shit because that's what I was gonna bring up. Was like the over criticism. Like the first point being the over criticism, right? The second point being the over criticism of arbitrary shit. So like the first one, I want to go into the first one first. Is like anytime Sonic does anything, it gets put under a fucking neutron microscope, right? And it was definitely brought to light with the direct that happened because people were absolutely shitting themselves over Tears of the Kingdom. And I'm like, bro, this trailer looks eerily similar to the first fucking Frontiers trailer because there's shit floating in the air. The nigga literally grinds on rails. And I even tweeted out, I was like, I cannot wait for people to drop 9s and 10s on this game and praise its quote unquote myriad of traversal options when these same options were done the year prior in another game that you niggas said, I don't like it. I don't know how I feel about all these rails and random platforms.
Man.
I don't know how I feel about all that. You know.
Hey, you can't forget, man. I hate the fuck out of Sonic Frontiers, but I can't wait till another similar game comes out and spend $10 more for it.
Yeah, can't wait. The same thing that happened with fucking Odyssey back in the day, dude. It's like, oh man, Mario has like crazy mobility and a literal spin dash. 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10 game. You know, it's funny because that game was like quite literally developed and directed by a good chunk of the people that worked on Unleashed, so cope. But the criticisms that just get lobbed at every fucking turn, like for some reason people can understand when it's alpha footage of, you know, an indie game or if it's beta footage of a game in development. But when it's Sonic, nope, the first trailer we saw is the final game. That's it. Game's bad. Haven't even touched it. Mid. Poop. L. This game was made by Sonic Team. L. Immediate.
They should stick to movies and comics only.
Why would they do that? They're bad.
They're all bad, dude. Sonic has never done anything good ever. Like,
whoa. Your guys' opinion is different from mine. No, I can't do this. I gotta get out of here.
Right. Just take it easy, brother.
You guys are fucking stupid.
You have a good one.
I would die.
I'll report you on Twitter when you put your takes.
Yeah, I was about to say that you got my app, bro. Go ahead and send your death threats.
See how stupid that is?
Now there are some things. There are some things where I do agree. To a point where we can have a discussion, but it does not need to be my opinion right, your opinion bad.
Right.
Talking about stuff like, hey, recently they've been changing the length of Sonic's quills. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Or they've changed the shade of blue. Those are things that we can talk about because those are things that directly change that everybody can see. Technically, you could be like, oh, it's just a more realistic blue. He's not cobalt blue anymore. Which, you know, to a point, yeah, it's a little bit more realistic. It looks a little bit better. Does that mean that I don't prefer the old shade of blue? No, but it's too late to change it. I can tell Sega, but
right.
Does that need to be an argument with everybody on Twitter? No.
Like my nigga, I just don't give a fuck. Like, is the nigga blue? Are his shoes red? Does he run fast? Cool. That's Sonic. Like, I knew the fan base was cooked when we were having multiple tweet debates about quill length and muzzle curve. That was like the definitive, this fan base is a fucking joke moment to me. Cause I'm like, bro, somebody did a side-by-side of like some Uekawa art from 2003 and his art from last year. And like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I looked at the shit for like 5 minutes and I'm like, bro, what the fuck is the difference? Besides like, you know, the shading on like his quills and like his extremities. Like he removed that the dark blue complement coloring, I believe it's called, off of like the ends of his quills and shit. And I'm like, other than that, I don't see anything different. And somebody had to actually like circle like a fucking spot the difference puzzle, circle that his muzzle was curved more upward towards his eyes. And I'm like, bro, how does this affect anything? Like that is the main question when people like just flip shit over anything in this fan base. How does this affect like the franchise going forward? If this is enough to take you off this ride, please get off, because that is the dumbest shit that I have ever fucking heard any fan of anything complain about.
Yes. Yes.
That is way too extreme, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Like, the fucking muzzle
But it
curve.
makes sense in their eyes.
Quill
Don't know
length.
why, but
Right. I'm like, quill length, bro. Let's be real. You're not looking at this shit for more than 45 seconds at a time. And it goes back to the first point, like this over criticism, man. Like, motherfucker, like, Musa, you're a Zelda fan, so I'm like, I know that man has gone through a transformation aesthetically every game. And I have never once heard Zelda fans complain about that shit. You want to know why? Because it's still a fair-skinned, long-eared, blonde man. The core features are all intact.
Hey, sometimes his hair is pink.
Sometimes it's dark brown.
It is.
Nobody fucking cares. You want to know why? Because the games still play the exact same. The media is still the exact same. I don't know how many times I have to tell you niggas shit. Do not argue about shit that does not have a major impact on the franchise. Bro, this nigga's quills going from like 8 inches to 6 inches long is not a game-ruining change.
Let's also talk about the fact that if we're being realistic, his quills have literally changed size almost every game that don't use the same model.
Right.
clearly people forgot about Sonic CD, but
Sonic 1, 2, and CD have the same model. Sonic 3, different model.
Different model.
Sonic 3D Blast, different model. All these have different quill lengths too.
Adventure 1 and 2.
Adventure 1 and 2, different models.
Different fucking model.
Right.
Different quill shape. Nobody ever fucking talks about that shit.
Shape, thickness.
Especially like from Adventure to, or sorry, from Heroes to 06. As I'm like, bro, this nigga's quill, that nigga, he looks like Ron Lim's Sonic in 06, bro. Everybody's quills are long as shit in that game.
Exactly. And it used to be, I think part of the reason, and I don't, it's not completely Sega's fault, because ultimately you can't control they can't control what happens after the game like leaves their offices, but it used to be just art style. Now, because of it all started with that fucking classic and modern split.
Yeah.
Now everything is a competition of which version is the best version.
And I'm just so glad that they were like, you know what? This is all one timeline, because
oh my gosh, I'm so glad they made that change back.
yeah, because like that was
Me too.
always what the shit was supposed to be up until Generations. Classic Sonic, or what would be considered classic Sonic, the one that we got from 1 all the way up through, what the fuck was the last game before Adventure? Jam, if you want to count that shit.
I mean, I said 3D Blast.
That 3D. Oh no,
R,
technically it'd be
R.
R.
Or
Yeah,
Chaotix.
I was about to say R, because R came out. Hard R. R came out in '97. So like the Sonic we got from 1 all the way up to R was the same Sonic that was in Adventure all the way up to Generations. It was just a progression of the character. Like, they got taller, got older, like that shit that happens. Progress, you know? But
Sonic's better. Sonic Adventure's better. It has heels.
facts. But again, as somebody who has been in this franchise since its inception, I never heard complaints about any of Sonic's aesthetic choices up until around Forces. That was like the first time that I heard that I had ever encountered somebody, and oddly enough, it was that nigga that we all love to hate. Like, that was, y'all know who it is. If you've been on this channel for more than 2 months, you know who the fuck it is too. That was the first time that I had ever run into somebody genuinely, like not memeing, not joking, genuinely having an issue with the way that this character looks. And the funny thing is, it's only relegated to that nigga. Like, everybody else in the franchise gets updated looks right along with him. But that nigga is the only one that niggas complain about.
Who cares about Sonic's friends, bro?
Sega don't, or they didn't for a while.
Hey.
Now,
They barely do now.
I was about to say, look, man, progress. Slow progress is better than no progress.
Right.
It's like that shit, man. I hate that, dude. Like, that was it was a moment that forced me to come to terms with the fact that, like, the fan base has way more self-importance than it should. Because, and again, I've said this in multiple videos, just because they don't do what you would have done does not mean it's bad. Nigga, we are Sonic fans because we like what Sega did with the character, not because Sega did what we asked. And honestly, like, this era, or the era that came before Frontiers, was a result of them niggas trying to do what we asked. Well, not really we, because I ain't asked for none of that shit, but y'all really, like, had a major hand, more or less, in fucking up the direction of the franchise.
I think, yeah, that disconnect was definitely clear, and you probably said this before, when like Sonic Forces came out, and I say that because it kind of goes down to, like, creating the character. Because before then, it's like, okay, I'm pretty hyped for Sonic Forces. It's looking pretty serious, and then, like, more stuff came through. And then when it hit, like, Infinite and create a character, it's like, okay. You wasn't supposed to listen to the fan base. What are you doing?
You were not supposed to do that, bruh. You know, live and learn. Because I think Sega realizes, like, there has to be a cutoff in, you know, actual implementation of fan feedback. Like, you have to have a point where you're just like, all right, nigga, we not doing that shit. Like,
shit, what was that? Wasn't there, like, a whole ass document for, like, like a potential sequel for Sonic Frontiers that came out, like, not too long ago?
That somebody made, right?
Yeah,
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it was, like, really long, and I went, I'm not reading that.
I'm not reading that. And it's like, why the fuck are y'all getting? Why the fuck are you accepting this for niggas who didn't make the game?
Nah, man, Sonic fans are just so used to mediocrity, bro. We don't know any better.
And I guess I'll just bring this up too. It's also pretty evident because what's the, not necessarily say, like, the first mod, but, like, if you check Game Banana, or mainly Game Banana, because I think that's where they have, like, majority of the Sonic mods on PC, or at least 3D. A majority of the Frontiers is, like, trying to replicate what Unleash had.
Yeah.
Unleashed?
Yeah.
And not Adventure?
No, most of them has been Unleashed from what I saw.
Are you talking about, like, animation-wise?
Animation, momentum.
Yeah,
I think that's been the case for Sonic Frontiers and Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Like, niggas are really trying to just
we just really need to bring back Sonic Unleashed.
Yeah. Like, and it's hilarious because There was somebody that threw the fucking Brawl Sonic model in there, and I'm like, bro, this is the ashiest fucking model. I don't know how y'all like
Oh my
this
gosh,
shit.
that model is only good for Brawl.
It is. It fits Brawl's aesthetic, but like, holy shit, is this fucking Sonic Dusty, nigga? Like, what are y'all on? What are you talking about, brother? But
give me that Saturn Sonic and call it the day.
Right. Like the other thing was there was another point I wanted to bring up. The bad faith, the arguments or reviews from bad faith that come from within the community, because dear God, like Frontiers, man, like Frontiers showed me for real that like the vast majority of critics were willing to be more honest than the actual fan base was.
Oh yeah.
Like in both directions. Like the critics that were like, yeah, okay, you know what? This is solid. This is a really good, first foray into open world for this nigga. Like I hope they continue this. And then there are the people like so it's just like, oh my God, Frontiers is the best Sonic game. I'm like,
Every time I hear that,
I like it.
All right, so
right.
I automatically disregarded everything you said from here on out
immediately.
So just asking them what's your first Sonic game, just like,
right.
So when's the first time you played Sonic 1?
It's like, tell me that Frontiers is your first game without telling me that Frontiers is your first game. Because I'm like, is the game good? Yes, I unironically think that Frontiers is a fantastic game, but saying it's the best one leaves no room for improvement in the sequel. Like, you're putting a lot of pressure on Frontiers 2 to basically just be this mind-blowing experience. And it very well may be, but I honestly don't think that, it's gonna redefine the franchise for a lot of people. Right. But we have to be honest in our praise and our criticism. Frontiers is good. Frontiers is great even. I would even argue that Frontiers is a great game, but like the best game in the whole franchise?
Out of all of them?
Out of all of them, out of 30 years of game, the newest one is just peak, just the definitive one. This is the one that did it.
No. The first game I played was Sonic the Black Knight, and it sucked. That's the reason why I like Sonic Frontiers.
Right. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Nigga, if your first game was a Wii Sonic, I feel for you. You don't know up from down. Like you have just had nothing but misfortune your entire life.
Well, I mean, Sonic Colors came out on the Wii, so
Sonic Colors sucks.
All right, we're gonna put a pin in that.
All right.
I hard disagree, but again, that's his opinion.
Right.
No, I don't. Sonic Colors gameplay wise, there's nothing wrong with Sonic Colors. I dislike Sonic Colors because of what it did to me.
Is it because it's not unleashed?
No.
He couldn't beat the final boss.
It wasn't serious.
If I beat the final boss, I was too poor to buy the game.
Well, I was poor. I just paid.
Are you mad at Colors for your parents' financial situation? Because that's what it sounds like, bro. Sonic Colors is the reason that I didn't have shoes. Piece of shit.
Shit. No, Sonic Colors was the first time that I was on the other side and said, what the fuck is this? This isn't Sonic. And I was 9. I was like, what is this kitty bullshit?
Look,
Sonic games have little girls die in them. What is this?
Like from a writing standpoint, I completely understand how you came to that conclusion.
What the
100%.
fuck? Sonic was getting hosed. I
will 100% say I was also like, I don't want to make this sound like I'm tooting my own horn or some shit, but I was a very smart kid. Like
that's fine.
So my media literacy for a 9-year-old was top notch. For a 9-year-old, anyway. So I was like, what is this? And I decided not to get the game. I also couldn't afford it, but not to get the game. And I was like, you know what? I'll go and I'll enjoy peak Sonic media. Loads up Nazo Unleashed.
Rest in peace.
Rip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we are never getting that sequel.
Ever. Inconclusive.
You may get a fan sequel. Maybe.
No.
Maybe.
No.
I mean, he said he released it eventually, but
Yeah,
eventually was a long time ago.
right.
Yeah.
Eventually was like what 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Back when we all thought that Super Mario Bros. Z could come out again in HD in the era of copyright strikes from Nintendo, who shuts
Nintendo
down tournaments
promptly
for
got
playing
shut
their
down?
own game.
Because I thought they came out with like the 4K.
It's coming out the reboot is coming out very, very slowly.
Yeah,
Okay.
because I was
He is like tiptoeing his way around Nintendo.
because I think we got 1 or 2 episodes and then nothing the fuck else after that.
Yeah, it just got episode 3 recently,
Yeah,
if I'm correct.
like
I might be
this
wrong.
year,
Okay.
or 2022, but like, yeah, that man, he's got to, and I mean, I get it. Like, do what you got to do to get the product out, but yeah,
Right. If Nintendo's on that ass, I get it.
got to do.
They
what you
will-
gotta do,
They will take everything from you.
man. I think the last thing is just people saying like insert character here wouldn't do that. I hate that shit so much. Somebody else go first because I have so much shit.
Is that
Okay,
the equivalent
so-
of can he beat Goku?
No, like
No.
like a character does something like it just for like a quick reference, like in Scrapnik Island, Sonic, I won't spoil it, but for Sonic, for a reason, cries, and the fan outcry was, why the fuck would he do that? That's out of character. Sonic would never do that. Completely
Which-
negating the fact that like the Archie comics that you niggas love so fucking much has this nigga cry multiple times.
And the fact that in context, yes, he would cry.
He would.
In context.
Yeah.
In context. But Musa, what were you saying before that?
Do you guys watch Bumblecast at all?
Yeah, I'll listen to it.
Okay. So I watch Bumblecast when I'm literally driving, so it gives me something when I don't want to listen to music. The amount of times I've had to listen to this man Ian Flynn be like, this character didn't have very stable characterization in the first place, so of course we gave him characterization that we thought would be appropriate. And people have been so mad. Like Silver,
Yeah.
Oh, you portray Silver like this, but he's actually ruthless and this and that.
No, the fuck.
I mean, not really. He's been in
killed
what,
thousands.
3 games, and he's doing it specifically to save the future,
Yeah.
and specifically will be like, well, if I don't got to do this,
I'm
and there's
not
another
gonna.
way, I'm gonna do it the other way.
Yeah. It's like people basically like with Silver, there were a lot of people upset that like he was being portrayed as, like a kind, basically like a cinnamon roll. And I'm like, bro, Silver's 14. Like if that nigga has no real reason to be like in the fight or in the fray, why the fuck do you think that he would basically be Batman?
And that makes him unique from Sonic and Shadow.
Right, like you can't have, like it adds to the dynamic. I won't say you can't have, because I mean you do whatever the fuck you want with these characters, but it would make sense to me to have some contrast between like the 3 hedgehogs or the 3 main hedgehogs, because I'm like Silver's not just this fucking emotionless automaton that goes around waiting for his future to get fucked up. Like it's just
Right.
This is not some shit that Silver does, man, Or at least it has. If he does do that, it hasn't been shown in the comics. Writer's rule: we don't see it, didn't happen. So I don't know where these got the idea that this is definitively how Silver is when we don't see him that much to say that.
Says must be their favorite game.
Exactly. He's literally he's barely in any games for us to have a solid characterization of how he would act in peace times.
Exactly.
Every time you see him, the world is ending.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
you know why? Because it's his fucking job.
Or he could be racing niggas in Sonic Rivals.
Yeah, which is technically his first canonical appearance.
Which, once again, he was doing his job, saving the timeline.
Yeah, like, it's just, that point to me has always been hilarious because it's like, we want better writing because, the characters are too one-dimensional and they feel flat. And then you get the better writing, and then not on top of criticizing the nigga that gave you the better writing, you try to dictate that that's not what that character would fucking do. When, if you're under the age of 20, that might be a bit of a reach. Like, if you're under the age of 15, you've had essentially 6 core games to base your entire opinion on these characters around. I'll just be straight up. You don't fucking know what these characters would do. Okay? Like, these characters are dynamic characters in most media. They have their core traits and they don't really waver too far from them. But these characters have usually responded situationally to most things. Like, there's not really a character that sees prominent use that isn't typecast, or that is typecast in this franchise. Like, the Chaotic, sure, you can count on them to be the same 3 niggas every time. That's because they show up once in a blue moon. Same thing with, like, somebody like Vanilla. Like, they just aren't prominently featured characters, so they can be flat. Or they can, be written to serve the story's purpose. But to say outright a character wouldn't do something and having no other justification for it than, oh, well, they've never done it before is like the definition of a bad faith argument. Like, the premise is solid, but the explanation or the justification is incredibly flawed. It's like, why wouldn't they do that? You tell me. Just tell me why.
Look, man, niggas out here just want their fanfiction to be real.
Well, because in Sonic 3, when Knuckles knocked the emeralds out of Super Sonic, Sonic didn't stop. Sonic didn't cry. He went and he beat up Knuckles, and he beat up Mecha Sonic, and he beat up Eggman. So he should just beat up everybody.
It was flew into space, and then he flew into space, and he was and Hyper Emerald. I mean, Super Emeralds and Hypersonic, and that should be canon too. And Sega, I hate you.
It was 1994.
Please hire me.
It was 1994.
Sonic didn't have fucking emotions back then.
It's not to say, bro. Sonic had like 2 faces in that game. It's either, oh shit, I'm falling, or I'm running.
I'm sorry. What was the thing people sold a Sonic for in the 90s? The attitude.
Attitude. God, what the fuck were we?
And then if Silver was the way that people think he should be, it would just further perpetuate people complaining that Sonic keeps referencing Dragon Ball Z. Yep. Because they would just call him a Trunks clone.
Future Trunks.
Because you wanna know what Future Trunks does? He gets shit done.
Yeah. He does.
But you wanna know what he also is? He's also naive.
As hell.
Oh, yeah. But he wouldn't do that because he killed the androids.
Oh.
Okay, and?
So? Who gives a shit? Like, it's, man, just like, that shit blew my mind. I was like, you niggas couldn't have picked like a better character to not know what the fuck you're talking about. Because I'm like, this nigga, again, Silver has been in really like one mainline title.
Yes.
Because all the racing games are spin-offs. Fucking Rivals, there's a spin-off. Nigga was in one game and basically got retconned out of the canon because of the events in that game.
And then they had to bring him back.
And then we had to bring him back. It's like, other than that, what else has he been in? He was a fucking cheerleader for Sonic at the end of Generations when you fight the Time Eater. Like which, everybody else. It's, yeah, man,
why
you can
is
do
he
it.
a cheerleader like he's not the fucking time traveler? But,
right.
You know.
Guys, you're forgetting. He was in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, the Green Hill stage, running around in the background loot.
Why?
Pretty prominent.
Why are you the way that you are?
What I say?
Just you gonna talk that bullshit right in front of my Koofy, bro?
Bro, what did I say?
Right in front of the Koofy, man?
Not the Koofy hat.
Yeah.
During Black Month.
During Black Month. You see this fucking profile picture, bro. Like, what are you doing?
Honestly, I should be ashamed of myself. I'm sorry for speaking.
Yeah. Yeah, go to hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like that shit, that was such a very unserious discussion. Like, yeah, Sonic wouldn't do that, but yet here he is on the pages in front of you doing that. like what are you, like, how the fuck are you arguing against tangible evidence? Like, who the fuck do you niggas think you are?
Because it didn't happen in my fanfiction, like, therefore it's not
like,
real.
He's had so many writers. He's had so many writers. You want to know what Sonic also wouldn't do? He also would not have Looney Tune hijinks in a special stage ass looking world randomly. But you want to know what he did? He did it.
He did that. Like, bro, I just can't.
And I have to live with that. So do you.
I can't put myself in enough of an egotistical mind frame to go out, work a job, make my money, spend that money on a comic, open the comic, look at the fucking comic, and tell people on the internet this character would not do this thing that I'm looking at this character do. The absolute fucking nuts you have to have to unironically say some shit like that. You are saying this evidence that I'm holding does not exist. Again, who the fuck do you niggas think you are? Please tell me. Because that is like next level delusion. I'm holding a comic, looking at a character do a thing. You know what? This character wouldn't do that thing. What the fuck?
And honestly, I'm going to go back to what you said earlier about these characters are dynamic. That's what makes them appealing. Like, that's why we're still fans, because these characters are dynamic. They change. They react to their situations. Like, you wouldn't want Sonic to go up to Cream after Cream's mom got zombified and be like, and Cream was like, Sonic, my mom, she's gone. Well, okay, Cream, it's okay. Put a smile on your face. You'd want him to be like, oh, don't worry. I'm gonna fix this.
I'm gonna get her.
Right.
Like, turn that frown upside down.
Yeah.
These are
shit
also
happens, buddy.
These are also the same people who love Shadow the Hedgehog. And I unironically love Shadow the Hedgehog because of how goofy it is. So I get it. But Sonic poorly reacting to the situation, Shadow sitting I'm just gonna use this as an example. Shadow contemplating how he should have died on the Ark, and then Sonic walking up being goofy as fuck. That shit is unironically funny as fuck.
It's hilarious.
But
it's hilarious in its absurdity.
Yeah, exactly. But if we are being realistic and we want these characters to be dynamic and we want them to change, and we want them to mature. How niggas have been saying they want for 10 plus years. We have to realize that they're going to react realistically, and sometimes people react out of character because they're human.
Mm-hmm.
You bullshit. Well, he's not really a human. He's a hedgehog. Like,
okay.
No.
All right, man.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the pedantry, bro. Take that shit somewhere else. Like, oh god. Oh man, y'all, the gall. Just the gall was like, you know what? You're wrong. Why? Because I feel like you're wrong. Okay. All right, man. Thanks, Sonic Fanbase. Appreciate that. Good looks. Also, like, there's just one more thing, and it's the respectability politics, Sonic fans. Like, where, you know, somebody makes an incendiary statement that obviously is going to piss people off, and then people get pissed off, and they're like, guys, come on, we can't do that. The internet will think poorly of us if we act like this, guys. Come
like
on,
they didn't
please.
start the fire.
Right. And I'm
Internet
just like,
don't pay my bills.
bro, what are you doing? It's the fucking internet, bro. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck. It's just like, bro, that's not gonna get you brownie points with the other fan bases, guy. Like, relax.
Right.
Okay.
You're a Sonic fan. If they're gonna hate you, they're gonna hate you
right
anyway.
I was about to
So-
say, you gonna hate me. You gonna hate me for doing some shit that I love to do. Give a fuck what y'all on, man. Oh god.
It's even crazier because a lot of these people can't be honest with themselves. I can respect somebody who's honest with themselves and says, you know, I like arguing. I like causing problems. So I think I'm gonna say this. Nah, y'all 100% mean everything you say, even if you know it's wrong.
I mean it from the heart.
You die on that hill.
Right. Die like a man or a woman or a them. Whatever you identify as, die like that. Stand on that. 10
Dying
toes.
within the spectrum.
Yeah, 10 toes. I need you to stand on it. Be down like the NASDAQ. Down like 4 flat tires.
Down like 4 flat tires. That one's new, actually. I ain't heard that one.
Really? Damn.
Nah.
I'm old, Yusuke.
You're a Meshi!
Oh man, but I've done my ranting for the day. I'm all ranted out, man. Any
I
final?
can keep going. As long as people say dumb stuff, I can keep going.
Oh yeah, like in perpetuity, sure, but like for today, for the 11th of November, or fuck, the 11th of February, bro, don't do crack.
Nah, you're...
The 11th of February, yeah, I'm done. I'm cooked, guys.
My man is traveling through time for real.
Yeah, bro.
Silver?
Them perks.
Silver? Hello?
Silver, is that you?
Them perks. I don't do perks.
Mopeman Silver?
I don't. Shut the fuck up, man. Oh God. Sub to the channel. That's it.
Smoke
Just
Joestar
sub to
the
channel.
Hedgehog.
Hey. This is not.
What's wrong?
I'm gonna go
What?
Google that now, but this is not 2011 on DeviantArt. Matter of fact,
It's 2011 on DeviantArt.